Lore of the Old World, Chapter 16, Land of Ice and Snow. North of the Empire, the land turns cold, and frozen plains, frigid lakes, and forbidding mountains stretch out towards the crest of the world and the realm of chaos beyond. It is a land that breeds hardy people who must face both an inhospitable environment and constant raids from the north. From this land, the kingdom of Kislev was born. Considered the northernmost outpost of civilization in the Old World, and boasting strength and stability to rival the Empire, Kislev has grown rich from trade with the east and south, while its great cities prosper from the wealth harvested from forests and mines. Southern men and women think of Kislevites as savage and uncouth, though in truth they are every bit as cultured and advanced as any human nation. This assumption of savagery derives from their armies, bare-chested horse archers, bare-mounted knights, and ice-wreathed war sleds, all a legacy of their origins on the eastern steppes. Kislev was created when eastern horse tribes, among them the Ungors and Gospodars, came across the World's Edge Mountains. The natives of these lands, fierce warriors in their own right, could not resist the newcomers, and, like dozens of tribes before them reaching out far to the east, they swore allegiance to the Khan Queen, and were subsumed into the growing Kislevite Empire. In the east of Kislev, beyond the World's Edge Mountains, outposts of the Kislevite Empire reach all the way to the edges of Grand Cathay. Here great cities stand, linking the western and eastern reaches of the Warhammer world, a legacy of the mighty tribal empires built by the Khan Queens of old. In the distant east lies Karakorsi, a great trade city that unifies the steppe tribes for thousands of miles around. Further west, near the floating mountain, stands Great Rasputia, the crossroads of the world. Roads from Rasputia stretch far to cities and lands across the Warhammer world. Westernmost is the great cities of Zamoski, gateway to the Oblast. Standing sentinel at the end of the Skull Road, it marks the point where east and west meet. Despite the presence of these cities, the eastern steppes remain a wild and dangerous place where marauder tribes, hobgoblin raiders, and ogre warbands are a constant threat. Merchants and armies must travel in strength, often forming vast caravans to make the long journey between them. Long has Kislev been ruled by the Khan Queens and their offspring. The current ruler is Tsarina Mishenka Romanov, often referred to as the Ice Queen, an honorific granted the female rulers of Kislev because of their mastery of ice magic. This great power is drawn from the land itself, and has said to connect the queen to her kingdom, allowing her to shape the winds of magic in startling and unique ways. It has always been so with the Khan Queens, and history recounts how the Gospodars were led by women as skilled in battle as they were skilled with sorcery. It was this magic that allowed the first Khan Queen of Kislev, Miska, to unite the land under her rule. Both her enemies and her own people attributed a host of supernatural powers to Miska, most of which were only partly true. Centuries later, Mishenka has the same air of mystery and mysticism surrounding her, a power she leverages to keep her people in line and maintain the far outposts of her realm. Her ice witches often accompany the army of Kislev to battle, where their magic can tip the balance with freezing winds, hails of ice shards or frozen shields. More perhaps than their sorcery, the ice witches are a symbol of Mishenka's power and motivation for her soldiers to fight all the harder for their Tsarina. The young prince, Alexis Romanov, is Mishenka's only son and stands next in line to succeed her to the throne of Kislev. Though he does not share his mother's mastery of magic, he is an exceptional warrior and shrewd diplomat. Trained in lance and blade, and as comfortable in the saddle of a horse as on the back of a war bear, Alexis has led more than one campaign into the north against Chaos Marauder tribes, Orc and Goblin armies, and Norscan raiders, to name but a few. Much to his mother's consternation, the prince speaks often of his dreams to personally lead his forces beyond the furthest reaches of the Troll Country, expanding the borders of Kislev into the north. When he speaks his thoughts on the kingdom's relationship with the Sigmarite Empire to the south, however, Mishenka is more willing to listen to her son's ambitions. Alexis has often spoken of a need to help create a unified empire under a single leader, for he foresees a time when the dark gods will march south, and all the nations of man must stand as one to oppose them. Unfortunately for Alexis and his mother, they have yet to find someone with the will or vision to unite the fractured southern peoples.